Hello, Paul, and welcome to your personalized resistance band routine. So I have here a basic pair of resistance bands and a basic door anchor. Yours may look different and might be in a different shape or different style, but they're all the same. Don't worry about that. Let's start out with your first exercise, which will be the bench press. I apologize in advance if my dog starts to bark throughout this. So I'm going to take the anchor, and I'm going to put it on the side of the door with the foam end on the outside. Make sure your door is closed, lock it if it is available to do so. Make sure the band is in securely. This exercise is designed for the chest. I apologize about my gym studio. Okay, so you want to make sure the bands are even, which mine are not. You want equal pressure on both sides, so always take that extra second to check it. I'll stretch it out, I'll adjust it. There we go. So I'm standing about 2.5 feet away from the door. I like to put one leg in front of the other. You can do it either way. And you're just pushing out. Always keeping your elbows bent, never fully locking them out, as that could cause injury. I'm just going to slide over so you can see it, but you do want to be centered. Always breathe out as you're pushing, and breathe in on the way. And that's your first exercise. The next exercise is for the shoulders, and we're going to do what's called a lateral shoulder raise, which works the side laterals. The shoulders are broken into 3 parts: the front or the anterior, the lateral, and the rear. Now, we're already working the front delts when we did the previous exercise, so we don't want to be redundant. So we're going to work the lats here, and this will give us width. First, I'll do it on an angle so you can see. You step on the band with your foot in the middle. I like to just use 1 foot. You could use 2 feet. That makes it a little bit harder. And then you just raise the bands to shoulder level. Don't go too far above your shoulder because then you're risking injury. I'll show it to you from the front as well. Just slightly over the shoulder is enough. Lateral shoulder raise. That's your second exercise. The third exercise is for your back. It's called a lateral pull down. You'll see that I have the anchor above the door and I have the bands threaded through the anchor. I'm just going to grab a chair for this exercise. Again, I apologize for my back, but it is a back exercise. So you're just going to pinch your shoulder blades together, keeping your elbows flared to the sides, and pull it down. Now, if you have too much slack in the bands, get rid of the chair, and you can do it on your knees. This is better for me, but it all depends on the style of bands you have, how high your door is. You can even sit on the floor if you need to. That's for the back. That'll get you a nice wide back, which gives us that V taper that we want. Let's move on to the arms, starting with the biceps. We're going to do one of my favorite exercises of all time, and that is the incline resistance band curl. So we have the anchor at the bottom of the door. We're going to grab the handles, hold one in either hand. Again, we're about 2.5 feet away. Notice that my arms are behind my back. That gives us that extra range of motion. And it's called the incline because if you had dumbbells and were working on a bench, the bench would be in an incline position, but this is the same movement standing up. One of my all-time favorites. Now let's move on to the other side of the arms, the triceps. For triceps, we're going to do the tricep push down. You can see that the bands are anchored on the top once again. We're going to grab a handle with each arm, bend the knees, and just bring the lower part of the arms down. The upper part should remain as close to your body as possible. So from your elbow to your wrist is the only thing that's moving. This is one of the few exercises where it's okay to fully lock out your elbow. In fact, it's recommended. Now, same thing if you need to kneel down or sit down, you can do that as well. Triceps are very important. Please don't neglect them. Triceps comprise 2/3 of your total arm width. So in order to give the illusion that your biceps are big, your triceps have to be even bigger. Let's move on to the legs and start with the quadriceps. And for that, we're going to be doing squats. Now, squats are a staple of every workout, really. And they target the quads, the hamstrings, the glutes, even the lower back. But the way we're going to do it, we're going to try and primarily focus on the quadriceps. And by doing that, we just need to have, I don't know if you can see my feet, but my feet are pretty much directly under my shoulders. And I'm going to step on the bands with a shoulder width stance. And depending on how much elasticity you have on the bands, you can hold it down like this. This is the way I prefer to do it. And we go down and up. Now we're not going all the way down. We're going just below parallel. So imagine you're sitting in a chair. In fact, you can even use a chair behind you just to guide you. If you are using a chair, just like gently touch it and come back. Don't take a full seat. And by keeping our legs somewhat narrow here, shoulder width, everything is targeting the quadriceps. Okay, let's move on to the hamstrings, which are the muscles in the back of your legs. Now, historically, these have a tendency of being avoided because people can't see this muscle on themselves. But that would be a mistake. You want to get a full balanced leg workout. So we're going to do the lying leg curls for the hamstrings. Hopefully your resistance bands came with ankle straps. If not, you can just put your feet in the bands. Or we can find another exercise. I have no problem doing that. I put one on already just to save us some time. But I did want you to see how it works. So you're just going to wrap it around your ankle. You want the D hook, or D ring, facing the back. Okay, this band is not broken. Okay, it looked like it was broken. I'm sorry. You're just going to thread it through the anchor, which is on the bottom of the door. And then clip the clamp of the carabiner, if you will, to the D-ring. Lay down. I hope you can see me here. And then just bring your legs towards your butt, your heels. If you need more resistance, like I do, you just scooch up a little bit. There you go. The hamstring curl, also known as the lying leg curl. Now that can also be done standing up, but you would have to do one leg at a time, obviously. So whichever you're more comfortable with, feel free. And let's finish off the legs with calf raises. Again, the anchor is at the bottom of the door. We're going to take the bands in our hands, and again, depending on the length of your bands, you might just want to hold them waist height, and if you do so, you can step further away and do your calf raise. You're just pushing up. Or you can get closer, like I prefer to do. Put the bands up here and get your calf raises. There's really not much of a difference, just personal preference. Just realize you have to change your distances. You don't want to snap your bands. And this is definitely one of my favorite exercises as well. Don't be afraid to do a lot of reps on this because our calves are constantly being worked. Every time we take a step, we're working our calf muscles. So it takes a lot to get to it. So when you're doing 12 reps of the other exercises, don't feel bad about doing 20, 25 reps of the calf raises. And we're going to finish off with the abs. Now I'm going to tell you a little something about the abs. Ab exercises will not make you thin. They will strengthen your ab muscles. They'll strengthen your core. Yes, they'll tone, but they're not going to burn fat unless you do it at a cardio pace. That's one of the big, people say, what exercises can I do for six-pack abs? And the answer is you can't do any. You have to eat right. You have to do cardio. You can tone the muscles, like I said. You can strengthen them. You can strengthen the core. And that's great. And that's what we want to do. Also, the abs are broken into three areas: upper, lower, and obliques. This first exercise that I'm going to show you is for the upper. I have the anchor at the top of the door, and I have my hands. You can put them wherever you're comfortable. I like to keep my feet together and bend. You can face away from the door, you can face the door, whatever your preference is. If your bands are long enough, you can do this on your knees. Anytime you're bending the upper torso, you're working the upper abs. Anytime you're lifting the lower torso, if you're doing leg raises of any kind or lifting your knees, then you're working the lower abs. So basically, you can just do the same thing here. Step a little bit further away to get resistance and just pull up. And there's a whole bunch of other exercises you can do for these, but I don't want to overwhelm you. And if you wanted to do obliques, just get your feet at a shoulder width and just turn. I like to stop in the middle because I think it's extra work for the core. I like that. You could also, if you want, this is probably more effective. I think so. It's called a wood chopper. And then, of course, if you do that side, you have to switch. And there you go. Those are your basic resistance band exercises for a full body workout. We worked in order. Chest, shoulders, back, biceps, triceps, quads, hamstring, calves, abs. And I recommend that you try this for a month. 3 times a week if you can. Try and take a day break in between, because rest is very important for so many things, for building the muscle, for injury prevention. So definitely try and take that day between if you can. And then, if you'd like, I would love to have the opportunity to train you online, and we can build on what we're doing. We could switch to an upper-lower body split, very much like Nick is doing. We can do a 2 body part per session. There's so many different opportunities based on your specific needs. And that's something I just want to stress. No 2 of my clients are doing the same workout. It depends on what their personal goals and needs are, and I design the workout around it. I don't copy and paste my workouts. So just let me know what you think. Hope you enjoy it. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Don't hesitate. It's not a problem whatsoever.